Recording in progress.
All right, he's still not even able to. Oh, do we have an attendee? Nope, that's Steve Sherlock. That's Stephen from our. It says he's not able to join the webinar. That's so weird. Okay, well, try. So he's gonna keep on trying. We'll just continue without him, and hopefully he can get on, and we'll we can just pick up midstream. All right, so it is 6:41 or 6:42. Called this meeting to order. So we got Nadia, Colin, and me on this call. No Lucas today, and then Stephen is gonna be running a little bit late. Um, from an agenda perspective, we have a few different things on the agenda. First is just to finalize that mission statement that we talked about last meeting. Second is to go over the JGPR overview. Um, this is something new for Nadia and Stephen. And then we'll talk through the website usage metrics. Colin, were you able to get that rectified?
Not quite yet. We know how to solve it, so when we get there, I can go more into detail about what's going on.
Okay, got it. And if we need to, we can put it to next meeting. We'll talk through the quarterly community engagement update, but this is if Stephen joins since he was leading that effort. And then we'll end off with the newsletter planning. Any questions on the agenda?
Nope, sounds good.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's just start off with the mission statement. I know we last left off and we had a draft version of it. The ask was for us to come back and finalize that today. I'm gonna put this in the chat of what Nadia had shared. I thought this was pretty good, so I'll just do a so an existing whiteboard. Do a new whiteboard. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Put this whiteboard in, and can you all see that, or does it bounce me up here? And this is what you shared with me, Nadia, in terms of our mission statement. Do you want to kind of talk about that? Just share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is similar to what we had going before. I just cleaned it up a little bit and added my thoughts from what we discussed at the last meeting. I think this hits, all of our target points with transparency and timely communication, to just make sure we're getting out updates as they're happening, to the public. And I think we're also getting feedback, which is nice, based on that last newsletter that we put out. I don't know that if we need to include that, but thoughtful engagement opportunities is a piece of that. So I think we're covered.
Cool. Yeah, no, agreed. And yeah, I think that would be a nice touch to include it in the next newsletter, so at least folks are aware of what we're trying to do and get a sense of that as well.
Sure.
I do see Steve Sherlock. Let's speak because you're always a great participant. Steve, what's up? I have to hit enter to have it go in, so thank you. Cool. But that was our mission statement. So committed to strengthening the relationship between Franklin Public Schools and the greater community by providing transparency, accurate and timely communication, thoughtful engagement opportunities, and informed advocacy. So yeah, a nice touch. I know we don't have Steven on, but we can send it to him offline if he has any concerns. But I think this is a good modification of what we ended up with last time. Cool.
Okay.
So that's easy. All right, so let me just stop this here. Um, The next item on the agenda was the JGPR overview. And Nadia, this is a PR firm that we've had before, so I'll try to call in just to kind of talk through who they are, what they do, and anything we have questions about.
Yeah, so they're like Al said, that we contract with them. They're a public relations service for the district. We have a subscription with them that provides up to 5 press releases or written pieces of content per month. So it's like we can give them a story and they'll get it out there. Essentially, they'll pretty much do it from start to finish, and they'll do a lot of like the writing, the outreach, the research around it, and kind of collaborate with the district on getting a message out. It's really kind of focused on like providing proactive and positive news from the district, and they also can kind of handle like a oops, Steven's popped on. They also can help us with like crisis management as well. So like if something happened in the town or the district and the district needed to put out information to the community, they can kind of help with that process and kind of be like the point person with dealing with like media inquiries and things like that. So that's kind of a broad overview. They've been with us for a while, and they've done different works for different departments, and are, you know, definitely a good resource for the district in this way.
Where does the information get released?
I think that varies depending on what it is. So I think a lot of it, they put like something on their website, and then it kind of will go through like the different levels of, like they have their connections, so it can get picked up in different media outlets through how they work. So it kind of depends on what it is, I guess.
Sure. I mean, can you give me an example of something that they've put out?
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually a library, I think, that we have that has it. So this is also something too that we would put out through like our live feed as well. So like we can link to those articles. I don't know of the most recent example, but like I know they've done a variety of different things.
No, I'm just curious to see if I've probably recognized them, but I just wanted to associate it to the group.
Absolutely. I can poke around for an example. If I find one, I can bring it
Great.
up. I can think of one that was a few years ago that I personally handled with food service. They reached out to, actually, yeah, Steve probably definitely would know that, so I can let him talk about it.
And
Go ahead, Steve.
Steve, yes, Steve.
He needs to unmute though. That's okay.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, and they on their website too, so that they post the initial one, and so I found that Panther Pride Night one on JGPR's website, and then if you Google that title, you can see like Franklin Matters obviously pick it up, and you know, a few others as well. and then we will post it as well. But it's really good for the district, as it will like it takes a lot of that legwork of putting a publication out like that,
Yeah.
which can be a lot of work.
Yeah. And I know you had mentioned 5 a month. I know last year we had talked about, hey, we should try to leverage them a little bit more. And just with everything that's happened, I think that kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. But I think given that, we're in budget season, I think that would be a good thing to talk through. The recent transition of the healthcare from our operating budget to the town budget, I think that would be like things that would be helpful. Because I could foresee discussions of overrides coming up again. And the more that folks are aware of things that are happening to really use funds responsibly, show where the dollars are going, may help with those conversations and combat any narratives that may come that are inaccurate or just people are not aware of what's going on. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Leadership team will be discussing that further for sure.
Okay, awesome. But Nadia, I think that's also the thing, like where else can we make suggestions on how to leverage their services since it's 5 a month, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Or,
if we use one a month or we use five, we're still paying the same amount, correct?
Correct.
So
okay.
You're probably right.
we're leaving.
Yeah, that's why I was asking about, what releases have come out so that I could kind of gauge how much we're using it. Yeah, we should definitely take advantage of that.
I can
It-
share you the, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I can
Go ahead.
share you the I can share the website with all of you so you can at least see what kind of publications they do for other districts as well. They do work with a lot of towns and schools in Massachusetts.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think with the budget, come underway, both from the town council and from the school, and there's going to be many, many discussions. So taking advantage of that should be pretty easy to do, I
Mhm.
hope. So,
Yep,
mhm.
agreed. Colin, did we use their services to like highlight ECDC at all?
It's possible. Again, I'm not the exact point person for it, so I'm not sure every piece that has been submitted to them. So I don't know off the top of my head, but
Okay.
again, can poke around for that.
Okay, yeah, no, that'd be great because I'm just thinking of the low
Expansion.
enrollment. Yeah, exactly. And then also just thinking ahead of, I know the little childcare solutions is strictly for employees, but I think just getting that out there just sows the seed for when it expands down the road. And if it's something that we say this is more than just educators here, it could be, residents that live in Franklin. I think that just at least there's history. So if somebody starts looking back, they're like, oh yeah, they talked about this last year and it's grown, and and it's not just something that just started yesterday, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a great suggestion.
Cool. Stephen Karunakaran, I always pronounced your name wrong. Stephen K.
Fine, that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Any questions on this for the JGPR?
No, I joined in the middle of the conversation, so I'll connect with you. If I have anything, I'll discuss with you later.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and just thinking of when I was going through the budget booklet, I think there was a reference to that in one of the notes around JGPR, and it was moved into like a different line item with other stuff for district admin expenses. So um, if you do have questions about that in terms of costs and stuff, I think tomorrow's meeting would probably be a good place to ask that to the central office team. Cool. Any other questions on this piece here?
None for me.
All right. Then moving on, website usage metrics. Colin, you again.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Thrillshare, the company, the organization that does the backside of our website, had a pretty significant update in late January, and it has kind of bumped the way certain things link on the back end with the analytics. So I'm working through with them on a solve for that, so I can get the information. It unfortunately is not something I can get right now until this piece is resolved.
Okay, no worries. Do we think this would be cared for in time for our next meeting, or do we push it out further? Like, what was the feeling that you got from them?
It seems like it can be. It almost needs like a new patch, if that makes sense. So I think they're able to do that. It just there's a few steps and a few permissions involved with that, so it should be fairly quick. I think we're safe to put it on the next agenda, and hopefully can share information with you before that. So we can put that as a goal for now.
Okay, cool. That works. And I think our next meeting is March 16th. So yeah, we got a little over a month and a week or so to do so. Okay, cool. All right, then moving on. Next piece is the quarterly community engagement update. So Stephen, I know you're gonna run with this. Anything to share on this item?
Yeah, I reached out to Colin, and looks like there was nothing done before, like there's no specific office hours. I think we have been doing some harvest festival connections and strawberry stroll connection, but something like a closed environment of meeting with families is something which you have not done, is what I heard from Colin. So Colin, you said you will check on this and get back to me. Do you have any further information on this, or is there any other suggestions on how we can take it forward?
Yeah, so those are the two that you said were the only ones that we could recall for this type of outreach that you're looking to do. So I guess the suggestions that I'd have, if you're looking to set up office hours, if more than two of you are going to be there, we should post it obviously as a meeting. And if you are interested in utilizing Franklin School's space, you can work with me on arranging that space. I would suggest potentially working with admin and kind of maybe picking an event that's maybe going on to kind of tag onto, maybe start a little before or go a little after an event that's already going on at a school. That might be a good way to have people naturally there in the building if you wanted to do something like that. That's kind of we're kind of my thoughts on it, and I can work with you on a lot of that.
Yeah. I'm okay to. I mean, I'm okay with the suggestion, but only thing is, like, if you're doing it along with the orchestra program that is happening for high school, we can expect only a few parents from those classes, or the families from those people who are attending the orchestra or the event that is planned, right? That's where I thought it has to be a generalized one. Yeah, that's where I'm looking for some kind of a suggestion. Maybe we can schedule some time on a weekday, 5:30 to 6:30, something like that, and then have a location identified, maybe one of our schools, no a school area or something like that, and communicate in our newsletters, like at least a couple of editions in our newsletters, so that we can expect some attendance on that office hours.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it kind of has to deal with, what you need, well, like what your envision for the actual event goes. If it's, just a gathering and you need seating, or if you need like an open space, walk around, you know what I mean? Kind of depends on your vision for like how you see the event running too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there's really no wrong way. I think it's just we try something and we see what happens, and if it works, we replicate this. If it doesn't, we take the learnings from it and then we do something a little bit different based off of those learnings. Um, I guess since we have the time, I think we should probably just let's talk through what the vision is and how this would work. And then we can kind of start some of the action items to move forward. So I know we had said that this would be a quarterly event, and I had thought we had landed on something in March or in April. Is that correct or?
Yeah, end of March or April, Al, because that's when we thought our budgets will also be wrapped up so that we can have some fruitful discussion, no, along with our budget as well. So that's what we thought, end of April, sorry, end of March or beginning of April.
Okay. So what I would suggest would be, like, well, let me take a step back. From a timing perspective, so not don't worry about the day per se. What were you envisioning from a time for this event to happen?
My suggestion would be like maybe around 5 to 6 or 5:30 to 6, in the evening after school, probably in the evening. That's what I'm envisioning about. But yeah, feel free to let me know now if you know the dynamics, so you can let me know which works
Yep.
to host this one.
Okay. Yep. So that's fine. I think once again we're open for trying different things. So okay. So then what we need to do is have a rough idea of when. So late March, early April, in the evening. What I would suggest would be sending out like a Google form to the school committee members to see, okay, what's their invite availability, so we can figure out like a day that could work that we can get coverage. And
Okay.
as we, we can post this so that we're not having to worry about open meeting laws violations, and it could be, the
Hmm.
whole committee, it could be two people, it could be one person, and anything in between. Um, this way we can then narrow it down to dates that we could do, right?
Yeah. Yep. Right.
Based off of the availability, we then figure out what's the date that it would be. Um, we have a newsletter that's going out. If we follow the same cadence, it's early March. I think it falls on the March 5th. So we know we need to get it communicated by that time, and we can also mention different school committee meetings. So that's
Mhm.
there. Um, and then the next thing is the venue. Um, so once we have potential dates, we can look at venues. So are we, did you, were you thinking it would be a school location or someplace else?
It, I mean, I'm not sure how many people will turn, how many families will turn up, right? So we can have some space to walk around and discuss instead of having a formal meeting kind of a setup. Probably, some kind of a small gym kind of a thing, right? We can have some setup like that and then engage with the families. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. And historically, turnout has been low. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't think we need someplace big.
Yep.
Uh, but we're not talking about like one of the rooms in, not like I mean, you guys probably haven't been into it, but not the room by Lucas's office, which is like 5 or 6 people. So something that probably can handle like at least 20 to 30 people, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So I think um
I think a couple years ago, when we were doing the redistricting, we utilized the library in the high school, which I think worked really well. It was pretty inviting for people. I think we need to kind of stick with that,
okay.
Yep.
uh, so it's welcoming. I'm still a little drawn towards the idea of piggybacking it on some sort of an event,
Mhm.
just because a crowd will already be there. But I think it really is dependent on what that event is, because I know some people just want to go to the event and not
Yeah.
bothered with anything else. So I think we could probably look at events that are going on in that same time period too, just to see if anything makes sense. If not, I think a gathering in the library might be a doable idea with multiple committee members. Um, and we could have some visuals, or I just, depending on where things are at, that yes, the budget should be pretty tidy by then, but it'll still be in front of finance, I believe, and ongoing things. But
Yep.
yeah, I don't know, those were just some thoughts.
Okay, no, that works.
Yeah.
Colin, would you be able to help us look to find out if there's any evening events late March, early April to help narrow down the dates?
Absolutely, yeah. And I can, once I find those two, I can even make some suggestions on space. Like if it's an event going on in the auditorium, you might want to be a little closer to that side of the building versus the library. Although I do agree the library is a good option for this type of event. So we can look at it, and we can even see if there's anything going on at other schools too around. I can get a list for you.
Sure, that'll work. Yeah.
I don't know if there will be an arts night. Like I know that in the past, like Keller had a huge arts night. I'm sure the other schools also had similar big nights, and they brought a huge attendance. Again, I don't know if that's a situation where people would only want to come because the kids are there as well, and that, but they are very well attended events. So something to keep in mind, and we can kind of flesh through ideas.
Yeah, I think I've attended a couple of art evenings in the library, high school library, and it's not just the high school students, right? So we have seen artwork from all the elementaries been displayed there. So if you know that's going to happen this year, Colin, that would be an appropriate event. We're not going to disturb anyone. We are just going to have an area where anybody can walk in and talk to us. That's kind of a setup is what we can ensure instead of no intruding in their the art event.
And if I just want to clarify too, just if I'm talking to principals about possible events, this is more of a conversational piece. You don't envision like a presentation or
No,
anything like that. Maybe
no,
just
yeah,
having some information on a handout potentially, and just more of a
correct.
conversation.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say think of it akin to what we do in Harvest Fest and Strawberry Stroll, but just inside. And so,
Got it.
Yeah, I think if people want to see presentations, they can watch the school committee meetings.
That's
Plenty
right.
of that
Yeah.
going on there. Yeah.
cool. I guess, Colin, what do you think is a realistic time frame for you to kind of get some responses back?
I think over the next week, I think there's a ops meeting for district leaders on Thursday, and that might be just a good throw out the idea to all of them, and then I can kind of follow up after talking a little bit about it with everybody.
Okay.
So I'm hoping maybe by the end of the week I can have a few suggestions, and then if more are needed over break, I can get even more.
Yep. Awesome. That works. I guess anything else for this topic? Okay, cool. So we'll follow up and see where we go and go from there. The next piece then that's on this agenda is the newsletter planning. So last week, yeah, Friday, it feels like it's been forever. The newsletter went out. Thanks everybody for its support. We did have a monthly question, so thank you, Nadia, for getting that in place. We got some feedback on there. So look at the responses for that. I have to say I'm not used to divvying up the work, so I had to think about like how to do things differently this time around. So I did forward you both the draft file for the next month's newsletter. And what I was just thinking is possibly just like I put in the meeting dates, and then based off of at least tomorrow's agenda, I put in topics that we should probably like expand on and kind of let people know. Um, but I think maybe that's the thing, and then we each just take a section and we just write it that way. 'Cause I thought that kind of worked well for the last newsletter, and we just kind of do that. Um, and we'll work to edit that, refine that, and then compile the doc to be sent out. Thoughts on that approach?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. I don't want you doing the majority of the newsletter every month. And I think we worked well kind of tidying it up this past month. But the only issue I have is I think a huge part of it will just be budget for like the next month. You know, it's the only agenda item really. So we might have to break that down further a little bit, but I think, you know, after the meeting, we can kind of piece through that a little bit.
Yep.
And yeah, the school calendar, I mean, that won't be a huge chunk of it, but yeah.
We're gonna be there for a while, and it's gonna be like 95% budget. Yeah, so yeah, so I
Yeah.
think it's how do we make that digestible and informative, given it's gonna be a very dense topic. Cool.
Did we put MCAS dates in the newsletter?
No, I didn't get them. Yeah, I missed that one. I know
Oh,
you were going to send it, and I didn't receive it, so I did not read.
oh, I did send them. Let me resend it to you.
Okay.
It was a document form.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll resend that.
Okay. Cool.
Because I know people were happy that I
Mhm.
put them on Facebook and there were a lot of very happy customers. So we
Okay.
should definitely get that in the next one.
Okay.
Um, I thought of something and it went away. So I know Steven's hands up. So
Hey, Stephen.
Yeah, Al, I think I forwarded some of the summary, so that would have been helpful. But I just wanted to ask you, since the final draft came in a very last minute, right?
Mhm.
That did not give me time to bring up the view that we spoke about in last couple of meetings,
Mhm.
the picture view. Is there something that you can at least give me a heads up of like 2 to 3 days so that I can work on that and help you with the picture that can go into the website?
So the draft and that's the I forwarded you both before this meeting the
Yeah.
draft file. So I would use that as your basis because at least we'll have the main topics, and
Mm-hmm.
if you pick a section, you'll know, you'll be owning that piece. So that would be, I would say, would be your basis. And
Okay.
if the plan is to get it out by the 5th of March, really. I would say after the last meeting of the month,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we know what's going to be there in terms of like major topics, and it's just
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then I'll okay, maybe by end of this month, I'll come up with something so that we can cross check with the draft and then see if it works out.
Mhm.
If not, we can make changes. That works. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I would say what I've found that to make life easier is doing things as the month goes, and then the doc is a rolling living,
Mm-hmm.
and that is updated as we go, and so at least you have a direction as to what's going to be in there. It may not be the exact content, like the text, but at least you have a sense. These are the things that will be touched upon in that, and it's all based off of our agenda. So,
Right. Right.
one thing at least I'll try to do better is that draft document as we have our agenda given to us before a meeting. I'll look to see if there's anything just based off of the topic that makes sense and put it as a thing for us to expand on and summarize for the reader. But it's also, you both can do the same thing as well. If you're like, okay, if I didn't put something, you're like, oh, this would be a good thing to expand on, and you want to run with
Okay.
it, feel free to add to it.
one thing before I forget, in the monthly question, or rather it's like the generic question that's in there every month, Al,
Mhm.
along with the monthly question, just that last question, there's a grammatical error. We just need to fix the
Okay.
wording on it a little bit that I noticed. And I noticed it last month and then I forgot to let you know. So we just have to fix that. If you guys have any suggestions on what the monthly question should be, of course, like let me know.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of fizzled out last time. It's like I had like good questions at first, and I was just like, I'm out of ideas. So, but yeah, I will see if there's something that piques my interest. It's like, oh, we should ask this. One thing I was thinking, and I saw it based off of the comments that somebody had left. getting the PCCs to share this in their groups as well. Like I do it in the places that I have access to, but I purposely am not a member of the PCCs as part of my school committee role. I'm only there as a parent. Um, and I think if the PCCs could, they all have communications folks, but they could also share the newsletters, so that is another avenue that people can see it.
Yeah, I could definitely talk to them about including it on the individual pages. The next joint PCC meeting is March 4th. I hope that date sticks. I know that there's some conversations going on at town council about consultants coming in that day. So I don't know, Colin, if you have any more information, but hopefully we don't have to move it. But I can certainly bring it up to them and forward it on to the groups so that it can get included. Yep, I agree.
Yep, thank you. One other thing, there is the community event stuff. And I've just added stuff that have come around my way, through newsletters that I see from the principals, and or like Facebook posts from any of the various groups, and I'll just share their stuff just to broaden their reach as well. And Colin, if you know, we'd asked for this before, but if anybody is having anything that they want like the public to know from an events perspective, if they can get it to us through you all or through Denise Miller, we can try to add that into the newsletter as long as it makes the window.
That's good.
Okay, cool.
Just to add, Al, before every meeting, I try to email the PCCs and ask them if there's any events or any announcements that they want me to include in my report. So I can help to gather that if I'm getting information from them.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Mm.
Yeah, be helpful. Anything else then on this, folks? Okay. Just trying to think. I think that was it from an agenda perspective. Yes. All right. So as I had said earlier, our next meeting is, the calendar's gone away. It is on March. I think I'm saying March already. Where did it go?
Thought you said 16th.
I thought I said 16th. Oh, yep, it is there. 16th. So that's our next meeting. Will be the same time. Hopefully at that point, then we'll talk through any of the usage metrics. We should probably start to think through Strawberry Stroll, because that'll be we'll continue talking about the quarterly event, but then it's also Strawberry Stroll was the next one. With the calendar being voted on, it's also probably going to be a good time to talk through if we want to see if there's any high school students that can do the calendar again. The calendar magnets that we give out, gives them at least ample time, because Strawberry Stroll is, I think, the first or second Friday in June, and usually I use Vistaprint to print stuff out, and it's like I can get the stuff in a week. So if we can get them to do the artwork, or at least see if they're interested in the beginning of April, they have April and part of May to do it, and then we have time to get it printed and delivered and ready for the Strawberry Stroll. And then we can think of all the other stuff that we want to highlight and emphasize. I'm assuming budget will be a big thing as well. So it'll be the funness of planning all that stuff. Anything that you all think you'd like to see or discuss next meeting? All right.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. All right, then, with that being said, it's 7:20. I put a move to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second.
Second.
Thank you. So we are seconded and we are closed. So thank you all both, and Colin as well, and Steve, for your time here. And I will see you tomorrow at our fun budget meeting. Get yourself ready and have some snacks and a drink to hold you up.
Yeah, yeah.
Hydration and snacks for sure. Sounds
Yeah.
good. See you
Yep.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
We are now producing this in collaboration with Franklin TV and Franklin Public Radio. This podcast is my public service effort for Franklin, but we can't do it alone. We can always use your help. How can you help? If you can use the information that you find here, please tell your friends and neighbors. If you don't like something here, please let me know. Through this feedback loop, we can continue to make improvements. And I thank you for listening. For additional information, please visit franklinmatters.org. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me directly at SchCmte@gmail.com. The music for the intro and exit was provided by Michael Clark and the group East of Shirley. The piece is titled Ernesto Mañana, copyright Michael Clark and Tintype Tunes in 2008, and used with their permission. I hope you enjoy. And by the way, you can also subscribe and listen to Franklin Matters Radio on your favorite podcast app. Search in podcasts for Franklin